So recently I've been making a bit of progress on painting the illustrations for the third book. I still haven't really gotten very many illustrations drawn out for the fourth, the next larger book, which is going to be in the next continent, but the line art for that is probably I'll have to wait until I finish a couple other projects. And let's see. So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have to paint about 97 more pictures for the third book, and then I'll have to do the cover and chapter art and some other graphic designing and write and edit the story for that. There's a lot of work that hasn't been done on the third book. I just started working on it now, so basically just really getting started. I have a lot ahead of me before I finish that. Once I have the second and third books together, I'm thinking of finding a way to format them into a 3-volume set book, which is like which would be a hardcover. I guess having a hardcover and a softcover copy version of that might be okay. I'm not really sure. Formatting it and then giving its own ISBN, maybe because you could only have one ISBN for format. Sounds good, Hayden. Yeah.
Daddy,
yes?
this one takes a lot of this one takes a lot of work.
Oh, okay.
There's 1,000. It has to be 1,006 to do.
All right.
Daddy,
Yeah?
it has to be 1,006, but maybe we can grab one of them.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Daddy, there's lots of because there's water.
Yes.
There's lots and 6.
Okay.
And 6 goes over there.
That is a lot. Yeah. So after I get the what was I trying to say?
I found a piece of wood. There's 2 pieces of wood places because if this one gets full, it's too small.
Okay. I think I might just end up having separate books in the softcover versions, and then having other paperback versions, that is, and have a hardcover collection of the 3 books. When that's out, I'm gonna start working on a set of children's books that are based on the younger squirrels, the children that are born in book 3. Each of them having their own individual stories, and I'm planning on that to be a start of its own little sub-series, series. One series for each of the younger squirrels, and I don't know how long those will be, but looking at regular paperback children's book kind of size, or I don't know, it might be hard book. Have to see. Actually, I don't know. Hardcover. If the formatting isn't much harder, I might just go with hardcover for those, because that might do better for children. I don't know. We'll have to see. Hardcover books are nice. Now that that's available as an option, I guess I'll have to see what the pricing and everything is to see if it's worth all the extra work. If it's too expensive for the customer and doesn't really give that many royalties, it might not be worth the effort. But I don't really know. We'll have to see. Don't get very many royalties per book anyway, so it's not really a big deciding factor. It's just the amount of work involved in formatting the books. I guess it really be a deciding factor in how many different formats I can have available The other thing is, because I can only use one paid ISBN per book, I think the children's book sub-series is going to have to be something that doesn't go on the paid ISBNs, because those are already pretty expensive per each book. And I only have 10 of them right now. Well, no, I've already used up one, and I'm already going to use up a second one on the second book. By the time I've made the hardcover collection of the three books together, that'll be 4 ISBNs used. And I'll probably want to save the rest for the next larger book, or the subset. I don't really know how I'm gonna work that in. I haven't done the illustrations for it. I don't know how many illustrations there are gonna be in the next continent. Quercus minora and the 8 elemental stones is the journey of Quercus minora, which is a subcontinent that Angelica Cherryfur is from in the story. And the next story is going to be of a larger continent that's nearby. I think it was Lomas Vienna, but I'm not sure. I have to check the map in the books. Yeah, we have to go home pretty soon so that we can have some dinner and stuff.
But what is dinner time?
It's 5 o'clock right now. Right now it's about 4:22, Hayden. So.
Oh, Daddy.
Yes.
After dinner time, can we go home, Mommy?
Well, good night time will be after dinner, but we can go home before then. We can go home before dinner, so that we can eat that. Anyway, I've done a couple illustrations for, I think it was the Lomas Vienna book. The line art, anyway, for maybe two or three that I did in the past. I don't know if I can find the paper for it. I hope I scanned it into the computer. If I can find the scan in the computer somewhere, then I can use that as the starting point. I also did a couple.
It's a lot of time, so maybe we should go home now.
We can go home pretty soon. If you want to get ready and go, we can do that.
I want to go home now.
Okay, let's go do that. My little guy, Hayden. Well, yeah, I entered a couple contests at SVS Learn several years ago with some artwork that I was planning on putting in the Lomas Vienna books. They will probably end up as part of the book. We'll have to see. With Quercus minora, yeah, that was the book set is 300 illustrations plus chapter art and stuff like that. If Lomas Vienna is going to be a larger continent, unless I have less pictures telling the story, it may end up being a larger book with more illustrations in it, and I'll have to see how that goes. It took about 3 months to do the line art for the Quercus minora book set, which was the 300 illustrations of line art, and that was when I was working on that most of the day. I'm a little bit worried about how long it might end up taking for Lomas Vienna book, and that's just the second continent. I don't know how many years of a project I have ahead of me, but I guess that's all right. Having the sub-series with the children's books, it might end up being a big problem in terms of publishing, or it might end up being a kind of a saving grace, making it a little bit easier to have some kind of content coming out while I work on bigger things, because having the extra work to get out of the way might put the main project on the back burner a little bit in some ways, but if I can get a little bit of progress on both things each time I work on my books or something, having a set of books that requires much less work to complete, that I can kind of put out while I make the series, seems like a good idea. I'd want to have the 6 characters kind of have their own stories to be told for a number of different reasons, but no, I don't have any stuff with me to stop by there right now, so we're gonna head back home, Hayden. Let's go home, Hayden. If you're hungry, we can eat dinner at home, okay? I've got your juice right here, Hayden. Here. So one thing is, Angelica and Dylan in book 3, they take the children on a few of their adventures, but one of the adventures ends up being something that they're not quite ready to take the children on. The second adventure they decide to take the children on, but although everyone ends up passing through the adventure safely, they decide that it may be a little bit too dangerous to continue journeying together for the time being, trying to make sure everyone's safe. So they have the children go back to the castle and stay with the grandparents. From that point, the decision to give them each their own little stories instead of just being idle in the castle was something that I thought of over the years, because having a way to kind of keep them in the story somehow, instead of just having something that I wrote into the story and then wrote out of the story, seemed like a good idea for me anyway. I liked the idea of creating the characters and then it would be kind of regrettable to have them as characters that I created that ended up never doing anything. So that's one reason to make the children's books. Another thing is, although I like drawing with the art style that I'm using right now, I was thinking of working with a little bit of a simpler art and seeing what it would be like to make my own children's books. Because what I'm doing right now is a children accessible, more of a young adult style book, I suppose. I don't know. When I was younger, when I was in elementary school, I was reading things like Lord of the Rings, and originally I think that actually was written for an audience around that age. But nowadays, children don't really read books like that very much. They usually start something like that when they're older, if they ever do. And so I thought maybe if I added illustrations, it would be easier and more accessible for people to start reading stuff like that at a younger age, but we'll have to see. Anyway, having children accessible books that are written at a slightly higher level than what you might be reading nowadays is one of my goals with the main series. But having books that are also more accessible to reading to toddlers or younger children anyway, or even as their first reading book or something, is also something I kind of wanted to do. So having something related to the series accessible to both groups was something I wanted to do. So that's another reason for making the books. So I guess in summary, I wanted something to do with the extra characters that I made, and I wanted multiple levels of book reading available for people. I wanted. That says something about taking home your dog's excremented poop. Yes, I wanted to have multiple reading levels and use several different art styles. And then I also wanted, what was I trying to say? Oh yes, I also wanted to make the publishing process something that where I could have something shorter to publish every once in a while. Perhaps that also, in a way, from a marketing point of view, since I don't really have much of a marketing plan, having more books existing with people to read them that are related to each other seemed like a good idea for me if I want people to know about the series. Having people's eyes be able to find them is one thing I had in mind. So yeah, I guess those are the main reasons behind that idea. So I'm looking forward anyway to finishing and releasing book 2, and then I'm looking forward to working on and then eventually finishing and releasing book 3. Collecting those books into a hardcover format, releasing that in a volume, and then releasing shorter stories along the side. We'll have to see how long it takes for me to get onto that last part of the project and how much it affects the publishing schedule. See if it works out the way I'm envisioning it. But I think it should be easier than making a full novel to make a children's book anyway. Although it requires some amount of thinking to get good short stories that have meaning in them. I think the total volume of writing and illustrating and stuff will be a lot lower, so it should be something I can do on the side. We'll have to see though. Well, anyway, that's everything for my book information. That all updates for that. Other than I've been uploading videos of me on YouTube for the illustration process recently, and I've also been posting the completed pictures on Instagram and Facebook. But if you're interested in going and seeing that, it's up on Jeffrey Cameron Sir on Instagram and Jeffrey Cameron Sir on Facebook. But yeah, for fitness related things, I've been doing okay, I suppose. I'm on day 58 of my cut phase, and I don't feel like I've lost much weight or much body fat anyway in this phase for some reason. I'm still calling it a cut phase because on the overall doing calorie counting, I'm in a calorie deficit. I could be cutting harder, but when I started out with a harder cut at the beginning, I ended up with some pretty bad constipation. That's finally starting to clear up, I think. But I don't know. We'll have to see if everything turns out okay. I might end up cutting a little bit harder than I'm doing right now, but might end up just finishing out the cutting phase after 90 days, going on to maintenance until my new job starts, and then seeing how that helps. Anyway, in April, I'll be able to have a larger caloric expenditure because of my job, and that will make losing body fat a lot easier. It might even be a little hard to keep up with eating enough over the week. We'll have to see though. Well, thanks for watching. If you want, like, subscribe, share, buy my book, review it, whatever you want to do. Thanks for watching.